Both Democrats and Republicans in Congress are working together in order to ban the IRS from offering a free tax filing service. And the reason why they're doing this is because Intuit and TurboTax are spending a ton of money lobbying congressional leaders to avoid allowing the IRS from offering this service. So the House Ways and Means Committee, led by Representative Richard Neal, who's a Democrat from Massachusetts, passed the Taxpayer First Act, a wide-ranging bill making several administrative changes to the IRS that is sponsored by Representatives John Lewis from Georgia, a Democrat, and Mike Kelly, a Republican from Pennsylvania. So I'm mentioning the political affiliations here because this is a terrible, terrible piece of legislation that, again, both Democrats and Republicans are in cahoots on because they are being funded by the very companies that want to continue making a profit from offering tax filing services. In one of its provisions, the bill makes it illegal for the IRS to create its own online system of tax filing. Companies like Intuit, the maker of TurboTax, and H&R Block have lobbied for years to block the IRS from creating such a system. If the tax agency created its own program, which would be similar to programs other developed countries have, it would threaten the industry's profits. So there's the Free File Alliance, which is all of these companies grouping together and fighting to ban the IRS from doing this. They released a statement saying developing software or other systems to facilitate tax return preparation may present a continued competitive threat to our business for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. That's the idea.
It makes me so angry because there are some people, you have to file your taxes. There's no getting around that. And for some people, it really is a financial burden to do so. It can get very expensive, especially if you're a freelancer and you have several 1099s. When you file your taxes, you usually end up paying way more because of the fact that you have all those tax documents that they have to input into the system. Now, TurboTax will argue, well, we have a free filing service as well. In fact, they do advertise it to some extent, like this kind of ad.
Free.
That's right. TurboTax Free is free. Free.
But there is a very legitimate argument that what really happens is you sign on and you try to take advantage of the free services they offer, and it's nothing more than trying to upsell you and make you spend even more money on filing your taxes. And that is a legitimate concern because I've experienced it firsthand. So real quick, John, I just want to mention how much these companies have spent on lobbying, and then I want to get your thoughts. So Intuit and H&R Block last year alone poured a combined $6.6 million into lobbying related to the IRS filing deal and other issues. Neal, who became Ways and Means chair this year after Democrats took control of the House, received $16,000 in contributions from Intuit and H&R Block in the last 2 election cycles.
And how pathetic is that? Like, I can't speak for any individual politician, but it's not crazy to think that they were influenced by this money they got. $16,000 is nothing over 2 election cycles. That is nothing. How cheap can you be bought?
Very cheap.
And so look, I didn't realize that you were gonna show some of that. So I looked into their donations and everything too. And it is true that they donate to Republicans and to Democrats, although not necessarily all types of Democrats. There were Democrats, including AOC and Katie Hill, who were speaking out against this. They ended up supporting the bill because there are other things in the bill that are really good. And they said they weren't willing to jettison those just because this was in it. But I did notice 2 Democratic senators who had received the most money from Intuit specifically. I don't know about H&R Block. Can you guess either of them?
2 Democrats?
Obviously, this information is over the past few years, but
I don't know.
I only mention it because it's kind of funny, but it's Manchin and Heitkamp.
Oh.
And the thing is, even for them, these are not congressmen, these are senators. It is a pathetically low amount of money.
It is. It doesn't take much. I think that's an important takeaway from this story. Politicians can be bought at a very cheap price, and they are willing to sell out their constituents in some cases when it comes to issues like this. And this might seem like a small issue, but for me, it's not. It's indicative of a larger problem. So oftentimes when we criticize establishment Democrats, we'll have the establishment hit us back with, you're dividing the party, you're problematic. But here's the thing, you guys are doing it to yourselves, right? I mean, no one's forcing you to work with Republicans on banning the IRS from offering a free tax filing service.
Yeah.
You're doing it yourself because you decided to accept that money, and that money is more important to you than the American people.
And more important than being able to go to the American people and say, hey, look, when you're going to do your taxes, we've provided a free service for you. Now, there were a lot of high-valued lobbyists who were pushing against us, but we did it for you. That's what we did. They didn't value that as much as they valued $16,000. And it's such a pathetic amount of money because it's an issue that they don't think that people will actually pay attention to. And unfortunately, they might be right. When really, I'm glad that we're covering this because it raises more fundamental questions like, why are we filing our taxes in the first place? I know some people need to. They have complicated investments, they own a lot of property, they work as independent contractors, whatever. There are people who have complicated returns, but for the vast majority of working Americans, the federal government already has all of the information necessary to process all of this. There's no reason why we should have to be involved in it at all. So there's the money aspect, the paying $50 or $100 or whatever you pay. I pay like $100 a year. My girlfriend gets her taxes done by a professional, as she's responsible, she pays more. And there's also the time and the stress. And so much of it can be automated. A lot of countries have automated returns for a wide range of simple returns that a lot of people have.
Bold ideas, John.
They are bold.
I never even considered that.
They are bold. Why are the only things that are automated that, like, if I ever say a thing in front of Alexa, I'll get ads about it for the rest of my life? Why can't my signing up to vote or doing my taxes, why can't that be automated? Why don't we get anything from technology?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that point.
Thank you.
You should talk about that on Damage Report.
I will.
Where can people find Damage Report again?
The internet.
Come on, John.
YouTube.com/The Damage Report.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.